Yo, what's up, beautiful people? It's your boy, that guy Jordan, and this is the Cartoons and Chaos podcast, where nostalgia, nerd rage, and hot takes all collide. And this week we're cooking. I'm talking Civil War truce, airplane pain, and movies that deserved a better. Quick reminder before we dive in: subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Podcasts, Twitch, and hit up the cartoonsandchaos.com for some fresh merch drops. Y'all really be showing love, and I appreciate it. By the way, guys, we have reached over 6,000 listeners and over 2,000 subscribers for the podcast. We are doing numbers. The YouTube is up to 800 subscribers, and we got the Twitch going at 150 subscribers, and we are just getting started. The more, the merrier. Come listen, share it. We are growing. This community is growing, and this community is for you guys. And I am glad to be back in the saddle. I was on vacation, but I was still getting stuff ready to go. And I cannot wait to talk about the stuff about what we're going to talk about today. And I can't wait to keep on being your only one for this type of content where I cover a range of different things, man. I know you got a choice when you hear other people, but I want to be the one to be the truth for you, man. So, hey, thank you again for the support, and let's jump right in. Right now, we are going to talk about how Captain America was right in Captain America Civil War, because it's time we talk about it, because Marvel fans either whisper about it or they yell it to the void. And you know what? I'm going to stand 10 toes on why I think Captain America was right in Captain America Civil War, because let's jump right into that. Steve believed in accountability without government control. He saw what happened with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra. Because think about it like this. Imagine you're Steve Rogers. You come back from being on ice. You help save the world with a group of unstable people. And you start working for S.H.I.E.L.D. But stuff starts not adding up. And then you come to find out that you died for basically nothing because Hydra still grew under the noses of S.H.I.E.L.D. and controlled basically all the aspects. Now it's your job to take S.H.I.E.L.D. down with Hydra and just leave it with nothing. Tony's sense of things was like, oh, I saw young Americans die, so I got to stop making weapons, but I still think there needs to be government control after all the stuff that we've been through. And let's break it down from there, because from there, we need to break it down into this sense of, like, I guess my thing about it is that Tony, and we can even go back to his father. His father, collected the Space Stone, the Tesseract, and it set off the events of. I honestly think it set off the chain of events, because like Loki's looking for it, he gets the staff from Thanos, and it just sets off a big thing. Secretary Ross brings the Avengers in, or the current Avengers, into his office and everything at Avengers Compound after the events of Lagos, and starts playing this video reel. It's like, hey, this is basically all your guys' fault. New York, your fault. New York was not the Avengers' fault. The Avengers were formed to stop stuff like that from New York because no one else could. And on top of that, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D. was just going to nuke the place, or Hydra, whoever was in control was just going to nuke the place. So if it wasn't for the Avengers there, that would not have happened. Or if it wasn't for the Tesseract, that wouldn't have been the case. And then you got them blaming Washington, D.C., but that was Hydra trying to kill everybody, over billions of people. And then you go into Sokovia, which Tony directly calls Sokovia. Tony created Ultron, which calls Sokovia, and he's always cleaning up his own messes with new tech. And here's my thing about that. He shows them the video or whatever, the hologram of that kid that died and everything during the Sokovia fight and everything. He's like, well, we're kicking ass and everything. You caused that. This is what you didn't tell the Avengers. Tony didn't tell the Avengers he was creating Ultron. Tony didn't say nothing about him experimenting with the Mind Stone. None of that. None of that stuff happened in that regards. So Ultron, and in regards to that, everyone's death that happened in Sokovia is on Tony Stark, not the Avengers. The Avengers had to come clean up his mess. And if you don't agree with me, I need you to go rewatch Avengers Age of Ultron and tell me when before Ultron made his appearance, when did Tony Stark say anything to the other Avengers other than Bruce Banner? I'll wait. No? Okay. Because my thing of it is that you can't drag your friends into the BS that you caused. You caused this. So then you're just like, I want to go into the sunset now after that. Yeah, I would do the same because, my guy, you basically killed everybody on that island. You destroyed an entire, city because you created something that you couldn't control, or because your fears. And then you had the audacity to turn your back on your friends because you're like, we need to put in check. No, Tony, you need to be put in check. That's the difference. Tony Stark needs to be put in check, not his friends, not the Avengers. Steve said it best. The safest hands are still our own. And what happened? He was right about that. Wanda got blamed, put her under house arrest. Vision was just like, and in the 8 years since Tony Stark, all this stuff happened, so I'm just going to agree with it because I'm an android and I think I know everything. And the Sokovia Accords caused more problems than solutions, because you're telling me that the Avengers, like when we're fractured here, we're like, we're going to bring you guys in, even though there's a bigger threat out there who's trying to tear the Avengers apart, which he succeeded. He succeeded in that. The Baron, he succeeded in tearing the Avengers apart. So with that being said, the Sokovia Accords, Tony Stark caused the rift. I'm sorry. Tony Stark is Tony Stark's fault. Because you got to understand, if you go to the raft scene, like the raft scene is a sad scene due to the fact that these are guys who most of the world consider as heroes. And now they're labeled as criminals because of who they sided with. In no right mind would you tell me that Captain America is a criminal. There's just no way you would tell me that. And then on top of that, let's look around the room. When you go in the room, you're just like, okay, you see Wanda. She's a kid at this point. She's a young woman, but she's already lost so much. She's lost her parents due to you because of your weapons. So of course that's why, that came into effect. She lost her brother due to you, because you created Ultron, and now she's in jail due to you because you want to be a selfish prick. Then on top of that, let's talk about the fact that Clint, he's only there because he's like, hey, I'm only here because Captain America asked me to be here, and on top of that, I feel like this is the right thing to do. And then you had Ant-Man, he's just here because he's like, Captain America asked me to be here, but whatever, I'm here. And then you got Falcon, the right-hand man here. He is ride or die, and he understands that government interference is just like, what's going to happen when they LoJack us like a bunch of common criminals? And that's what they did. He literally called it. And let's not forget all the stuff that happened because of the Civil War. Because of the Civil War, your best friend Rhodey becomes paralyzed from the waist down. He has to learn how to walk again. Natasha has to go on a run. Spider-Man is just like, I still believe in you, but then he saw, it took him in his next movie, he's like, I don't think I want to be an Avenger because of the stuff he has to do this. Then on top of that, you have Black Panther, and Black Panther's like, I understand the truth now. It wasn't, the Winter Soldier that killed my father. It was this guy who was just trying to frame everything. And you still let him do that. You still let the Baron get away. You still let this man basically, you literally let this man tear the Avengers literally apart. And with that being said, when Tony found out that about his parents, he made it personal. He didn't just, take the Accords into consideration. He made this a personal battle. And you know what? I will give Tony one thing. Yes, you have every right to be mad at Steve for not telling you, because Steve did know, or at least he suspected that the Winter Soldier had something to do with his parents' death. But at the same time, you had no right to crash out like that, because at the end of the day, you needed Steve Rogers to save your ass, because you got your ass kicked up and down that planet by Thanos. If the Avengers were together during the Thanos incident in Infinity War, we probably wouldn't have had a dude in yet. But because you caused that rift, of course, without your other halves together, this is what the outcome is going to be. So it's always going to be Team Captain America because of the simple fact that of the matter is Tony Stark problems became the Avengers problems. So that's just what that is. Like, I'm sorry to say that, and I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but Cap wasn't being rebellious, he was being real. It's Team Cap all day. Tony's arc was a redemption at some point, but this was Steve's integrity moment. So, like, and integrity for me, integrity trumps what Tony had to go through. And I'm sorry, this might seem insensitive, but like in Endgame, I'm like, cool, Tony Stark is dead. Like, I'm cool with that. I feel like that was a great arc for his character. I feel like that was a good thing, but I didn't feel anything for it. I felt more for like Captain America finally settling down, marrying the woman he loved. I felt more for that because I feel like Captain America for me went through more than what Tony could ever imagine going through. So that's just how that goes. Let me know if you disagree because we might have to debate it on live. There's that. So we're gonna move on. So I just recently got back from Mexico. I'm a big time traveler. If you guys didn't know this, I used to work for the airlines. So I have worked for Alaska, Frontier, and JetBlue Airlines. But I know the ins and outs of mostly every major airlines in America. And today I am going to go all out on smoke for all of them. I'm going to give you a breakdown of each one and why you shouldn't fly these airlines. And on top of that, I'm going to give you a couple of airline secrets for the next time you guys decide to travel. So let's jump right in. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to start at the bottom. It's going to be Spirit. So with Spirit Airlines utilizes older A320s and A321 Airbuses. The A320 is the smaller one. The A321 is the slightly bigger, more seat. And then on top of that, they have a couple of A322s. It's been a couple of years since I've worked there, so they might have upgraded, but I don't know. But either way it goes, they usually get them on the older side. Easier to fix, cheaper parts, whatever. Spirit, though, I've never prayed more in my life, and it's because like every time I've stepped on a Spirit flight, it's the takeoff, the management, everything for Spirit just sucks, man. I don't care about like the new commercials they got with the more comfort seats. It's just Spirit is just I am sorry, Spirit is the Greyhound Airlines of the sky. Like Spirit is Greyhound. Like that is how I look at Spirit. When people tell me, "Oh, I had a great time on Spirit," I just look at them like, wow, like who says that? And you know what? It's just no. I can't. I refuse to do Spirit Airlines. I just refuse. I will not get a Spirit Airline unless like it's bought for me. But if it's not that, or I'm not paying my own money out of it. Same thing with Frontier. So I've worked at Frontier, and Frontier is a really weird airlines because they have some really cool looking planes. I will say that. I've operated the A320s, A321s, and A322s Airbuses. They're a little bit on the newer side because some of them have Neo engines, which are a little bit more quieter than the rattling engines that they have at the end of the day. But either way it goes, they have the seats don't even recline on that aircraft though, so it's just like they just exist. And I think they're really good for the animal thing. Frontier went on bankruptcy a couple years ago too, so there's that. And Frontier and Spirit are kind of on the same level type of thing. It's just that I have a little bit more of a heart towards Frontier just because I've seen a lot of people use Frontier for a lot of different flights and everything. But I will say that as far as like trying to get out of the gates and stuff like that with Frontier or trying to make it on time, it's very close, very thing. So like you have to be very weary of Frontier. But otherwise, it's a decent airline. It's a decent airline. I would fly it again. I've only flown it once in my life, but I worked for Frontier. I opened a station in Miami. I did the Frontier station. So shout out to you guys in Miami if you guys remember me. I helped train a lot of people on the Frontier contract and everything. So Frontier was an okay, decent airline, but like I said, it's not something I would be like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. Here's my next one. American. Ooh, American. Decent until you're delayed for 4 hours with no snacks. Oh my gosh, American has a plethora of different um uh airplanes in their disposal. They have Boeings, they have Airbuses, they have CRJs. American has bought up a lot of different airlines that you might remember. My uncle being one of the guys, he's worked for the United contract. Or not United, I'm sorry. He's worked for the it was TWA. My grandmother was a TWA flight attendant, and she was a TWA secretary for the CEO up until I was born in '96. And then they merged in 2001 after a big thing happened. TWA. So TWA is part of American, and then American bought out U.S. Airways. There we go. So U.S. Airways got bought out by American about 10 so years ago. And there's a couple different airlines that just they've slowly developed into. But American recently has really gone down in value as far as they're very expensive, and they try to really skirt a certain FAA rule that I'm going to explain in a second. But American is very, if unless you're a person that cares about like who you take, American is not an airline I would honestly take if the price isn't right or if someone's not buying me my ticket. So like there's that. I don't think American is an airline where I'm really like, you know what, I'm an American guy. Like I said, American is one of those people, like you have to be either one of those people that like works for American, or you have flight benefits with American, or you have like an American credit card, or you just have been flying for American for a long time. But for me personally, I don't like American. I just don't. Second on my list is Southwest. Of course, no seat assignments, playing musical chairs in the sky. That's how Southwest is. Now, here's the thing with Southwest. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm going to tell you guys now. Southwest has gotten rid of their free free bags, because they're trying to catch up with everybody else. But I think that's going to, I don't know what that's going to look like for the future. I know that first check-in bag is like $35 now, and then the second bag, I don't know how much that one is. I haven't really seen a lot of reports on it, so I kind of can get back to some people if you have questions on it. But I will tell you about Southwest. Like Southwest, what I've always loved about Southwest was the open seating policy, especially if you're 8 through 15, or even if you're in an A group, you get pretty decent seats. Like if you're in an A group for Southwest and you board within that A group, you get very decent seats. And depending where you go, so like me and my family, we just went to we went to Long Beach. Long Beach is from where I am, Kansas City. Long Beach is about about 3.5, 4 hour plane ride. So we made stops, of course. When we went there, we went to Phoenix. That flight to Phoenix, it's kind of weird because Kansas City, from Kansas City, most of the flights here are full, going to different places. Like you got to catch a really early flight to not have a completely full flight. But it's when you're leaving different places is when the flights tend to be a little bit lighter, on the lighter side. I will say that for Southwest, they usually only do about the Boeing 700s, 800s, and then they have 800 Maxes and 900 Maxes. And the Maxes are actually very nice. It's just, with Boeing, you never know. But Southwest does a very good job. I mean, their flight attendants has always been so friendly, and I just genuinely enjoy flying Southwest. Now, with this new bag deal, I don't know. At this point now, I'm at the point where I'm just looking for the cheapest flight now, except for Spirit and Frontier. I won't do that. So anything else we're going to do, but still, I'm still a Southwest guy. I still love them. Thank you for getting me home safe and my family home safe. So still love Southwest. Then at number 1 is Delta. Now, Delta is expensive, but it's very comfy. You feel like a first class citizen there, and you get what you pay for with Delta. Like I have decided that when me and my boys go back to Japan next year, I have decided that I'm going to spend the extra $500 for first class, because those people in first class, when we went to Japan this time around, when we went to Japan, those people were comfortable. They had like a little couch type thing. It goes into a bed. It was nice. Like, it was nice. Like I genuinely want that experience, and I'm going to get that experience next year. Like, I'm definitely going to get that experience. I don't care. But Delta is a very niche airline because the simple fact of the matter is that they don't really change a lot of their ways. Delta has never really changed a lot of their ways. You pay for your baggage, you pay for your seat, and you get from A to B. That's basically how Delta operates. Your A to B could be an international flight. Your A to B to C could be international. They do a lot of international work, so Delta is really renowned around the world. They've been operating for about 100 years. They have a plethora of airlines. They're just like American, a plethora of different airlines or different airplanes. So Boeing, CRJs, and their Airbus products. So they give you what you want. They give you what you want. Now, the reason why I pointed these 5 airlines out is just because, like, for one, I've never taken United, but I've always heard bad things about United, especially from people that work there. So I don't know, I'm kind of biased towards United because they've always had like higher ticket prices. And I just don't feel like taking like United either because they don't really go a lot of places that I go to. Or they do, it's just very expensive to get there. Like, I can get a Southwest ticket for like $200 less than what I would get for United. So never done that. What's another one? I worked for Alaska and JetBlue. And the crazy thing is about those 2 airlines is that Alaska for the longest time, I don't know if it's changed now, but Alaska for the longest time is that if you wanted to get anywhere from Alaska Airlines, you have to leave your respective airport to go from here, if you wanted to get to Baltimore on Alaska, you have to go from here on Alaska to Seattle and then take a Baltimore plane from Seattle to Baltimore. So I don't know if that's still the case, but I think it is. I really do. And then JetBlue's been going down because last I heard, Spirit and JetBlue was supposed to merge, and I haven't heard any headway on that. So I don't know if any headway's been happening. Somebody let me know. But other than that, but the reason why I tell you guys that is because I want you guys, like, if you guys are planning on traveling or if you guys have travel plans and everything, I want you guys to be weary of the airlines that you're going to be traveling on. I mean, Dallas right now, I think those people out of Dallas might have got their planes together and everything, but Dallas right now, they were suffering from American not rebooking them, all this stuff like that. There was another airport that was happening like that. So the reason why I'm telling you guys that is because I want you guys to avoid these situations with these airlines, and I wanted to let you guys know that there are things that you guys can do to get what you need. Now, unless they change this, it's always been FFA regulations that you are supposed to get compensation for your time lost or ticket value and stuff like that if you have a delay more than 4 or 5 hours. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody that's in the airline industries, maybe this has changed, but last I checked, this was still a case. Same thing with, like, if your plane is delayed and you're not going to get rebooked until the next day, they're supposed to give you food vouchers, hotel vouchers, anything that they have, because they have the money for it. Don't trust me, they have it. Delta just gave somebody like $5,000 for just giving up their seat, so they have the funds. American is really bad about this, so like there's that. And then I want you guys to know about the 20-minute rule. A lot of people don't know about this 20-minute rule, so let me tell you. I'll be the first to tell you. So when you guys come into the plane, when you guys come in off the plane, we as ramp agents or the airline itself is obligated to have your bags at the carousel within 20 minutes. So if it goes over 20 minutes, like, you have to kind of time yourself here. So like, how long did it take you from get to the plane to the carousel? Certain airports is very quickly, certain airports is not. So like in the old KC airport, people would get off the plane, go to their bags, and they be waiting there. Now the new airport's a little bit further to walk, all that stuff like that. But you still have, if you time yourself, let's say you get to the carousel and it's been 6 minutes, that means that we have 14 minutes to get your bags up there before the timeout. So I'm telling you guys this because a lot of people don't know this rule, so I need you guys to pay attention here. If your bag is late, like if your bag is not on that carousel within 20 minutes of you debarking your plane, and getting to the carousel and or getting to the baggage claim, and your suitcase is not there within 20 minutes, you have a right to financial compensation from the airline because your bag is late. I know this because we used to have to do it at American and Frontier. So there's that. Unless they change that, and I know for a fact now that I know for a fact they have not changed. So there's that. 20 minutes, and your bags are supposed to be there at 20 minutes. If your bag is not there within 20 minutes, I know those late night flights be like that. Oh my gosh, those late night flights. If you get into an airport at midnight and you're just cranky and you haven't got your bag yet, go ahead and complain. I give you full permission on that. So there's that. Traveling is a game of survival now. So you got to bring snacks and patience and a backup plan. And I need y'all to understand, like, I'm telling you guys this is because I care about you guys. And I know a lot of traveling is going to be done between now and the end of August or towards Labor Day. So I just want to get you guys prepared for that travel so that way you guys are ready to go. I need y'all to do me another favor. Drop your worst airline stories in the comments. I want to hear them. I want to hear them because airline stories are really funny to me, especially from a guy that worked in the airlines. So I'm always curious about how that goes. So there's that. All right, we're going to move on to our last segment of the day. I'm going to put you guys on to something. If you have never seen this movie called In Time starring Justin Timberlake, you are missing out. So in the movie In Time, time equals money in a literal sense. Like, so in the movie, you get this, like, at the age of 25, when you turn 25, right, you have a clock on your arm. You have literally clock on your arm. And you get basically a timer, basically. And if that time runs out, you die. But basically, if you keep adding more time, like, you get paid in time. So, like, if I get paid for 8 hours of work, I can add 8 hours to my clock, basically. People are genetically engineered to die at 25 unless they buy more time. So you stop aging at 25 and your clock starts at 20. I think that's how that goes. So I think I misspoke that. So you stop aging at 25 and your clock starts at 25. And then basically now you're just adding time to keep going. The rich can live forever and the poor will live day to day. It's anti-capitalist and it's slick, it's fast, and it's got a real message behind it. And the message behind it is basically don't waste time chasing money. That's the message I got from it. Don't waste your time chasing money. Let money chase you while you chase everything else. So, like, when I say that, like, don't get me wrong. I'll be the first to tell you I hate the expression money doesn't buy happiness. I hate that expression because obviously whoever made that expression wasn't broke at all. But what it does tell me is that instead of wasting our time and potential on things that unfortunately gives monetary value and everything like that, let the monetary value come to you. Let the money chase you. Live out your dreams, of course. Like, live out your dreams. But the reason why I do this, podcast, is because I do not want to work for anyone else anymore. I'm tired of working for other people and living their dreams because, like, I'm sorry. Like, I work at T-Mobile and I know the guy, the main guy, he gets paid great money. Great money. He's happy. And basically, I'm living his dream. I'm living in his dream world. And I don't want to do that. I want to live in my dream world. And we all deserve to be something better. And you know what? Some of us understand that more than others. Your dreams will come true. Like, recently I've been hearing things. Like, this is why In Time is crazy to me. Because I've been hearing things like, dreams doesn't come true because you don't work hard enough. Or you have to work hard for your dreams to come true. But when you have a little jolt or a little idea, and you don't do it, and you see other people doing your idea, and you're just like, maybe it wasn't for the best, maybe it's not. You know how many people do what I do, podcasting, talk about anime? There's probably somebody talking about the same stuff I talk about right now, but we do it in uniquely different ways. You know, that person could have 1,000 subscribers, I have 2,000. I'm not saying I'm better than that person. I'm saying though, I'm making sure my dream comes true because I want that person's dream to come true too. But really so, dreams come true because we work at our dreams instead of letting the work instead of letting our dreams work. And we work for our dreams doesn't work for us. How's that? So basically, in time shows us that no matter how powerful you are, and no matter how, no matter what you're running from, first and foremost, everyone needs to die. Like I'm the type of person, one of my only fears in life, I don't have many, but one of my only fears is immortality. I don't like immortality. I don't like the trope of it. Because living forever, like, that is one thing that does scare me, because, like, you have to watch everyone else die around you while you get to live. And in time, that is a concept that's like, the rich are just like, oh, we don't care about everybody else because we're just keep buying time or whatever. But see, I love that when you break away from that, it's just like, no one deserves to harbor anything. Everyone deserves equal opportunity, basically, because at the end of the movie, basically everyone gets the same amount of time so they can cross over to the different borders to enjoy life. Everyone deserves a piece of life to enjoy, and that's the message that you get from here. And that's a real world message, because for me, my thing about it is that I don't think ultra super rich and everything deserves the amenities that they get because they're rich. If you want for your money and everything, yes, but remember where you came from. That's me. If this becomes something globally big and I become a globally known figure, I'm gonna remember where I came from. I'm not the type of person like, yep, I'm rich now. I don't need to have shit on. I need to pay somebody. No, I'm doing this because the community that I stand before, I want that community to follow me, and I want to grow that community. I want to make sure everyone's happy, and I just, the ultra rich doesn't deserve everything, and that is the true undertone of the message in time, and that's why I like In Time. I like In Time because it's like, we're coming to a time now in our real world type of situation where we see that the ultra rich, are trying to get away with everything. We're not letting them, and I love that. I love that about this. Anyways, In Time was ahead of its time and slept on, and I rewatched it and said, yo, this is relevant to what we're going through right now. We need to bring that one back. So if you guys have not watched In Time, go watch it. It's on a streaming network. I just can't tell you which one, but I know it's there. It's with Justin Timberlake. And I want to say I know the second girl. I want to say I know the main lady in there, but I don't. So I'm not going to even tell you. But I do know Justin Timberlake is definitely main character. Oh, and the guy from, I think his name is Matt Bronner's in there. There you go. So go look it up. Go have fun with that. So anyways, there's that. All right. So wrap up episode 6 of the Cartoons of Chaos. I hope you had fun, got mad, and maybe got happy, and maybe added a new movie to the watch list. Next week, we are diving into something special. It's, I'm bringing back the anime guru, my best friend, Dallas, and we are going to be breaking down, or ranking the top Akatsuki members from the worst to the best. And trust me, you're probably not going to agree with my top 3. You might agree. Who knows? There's that. Then we are diving into childhood chaos with the top 5 Jetix shows of all time and the top 10 kids WB shows of all time. If you grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, this one is for you. So tap in, share it with a friend, and don't forget about cartoonsandchaos.com. It's officially open for merch. Twitch is also live, Cartoons and Chaos podcast, and the chaos will never stop. So just go like us, go follow us, go subscribe to us, go share us. We're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. And you know what? Much love to everyone. And please stay chaotic. You guys have a wonderful day. Hey, you guys have a wonderful week. Can't wait to see you guys in my new place. Goodbye.